Alright guys, thanks for tuning in today. So today we're going to look at 6 different knives, which is a lot, so this might be a little bit longer video. But like the title says, they're high value EDC folders. Lately I've kind of been on a budget, high value knife kick, just been enjoying, you know, some less expensive knives, honestly. That's what it comes down to. So I want to cover a few of these, and some are new to me and some I've already done reviews on, so I won't spend a whole lot of time on those. But let's kind of start with the bottom up for price-wise, and we'll kind of go from there. We're just going to move these out of the way. First one we're going to start with is this one. This is the Enlon EL01. Now, if you're not familiar with Enlon, also known as B, I believe, these are Chinese-made knives, which are a lot of knives sold today. These are made in China, and this is actually their brand. Now, this company actually is the one who makes a lot of the knives for Kershaw, Spyderco, etc. They produce a lot of those Chinese-made CRKT knives, so they have good quality. And this one is I mean, this one actually kind of blows my mind for the price. You can get them on eBay for pretty cheap. I actually bought mine on Amazon for 16 bucks, and it had prime shipping. So it was a US seller, and it shipped to me in 2 days. Now I understand you can probably even get them less expensive, but I thought for 16 bucks and I can get it in 2 days, why not? Always want to try one out, heard good things about them. And they are awesome folders. I mean, the amount of knife you get for the money is kind of mind-blowing, actually. I mean, they're nice flippers. Flips open very nicely. It's got a nice big blade. They are 8CR13 MOV steel, so, you know, if you're like a better steel, then go elsewhere for the knife. But it's almost a 4-inch blade. And that's kind of crazy. Pretty good size. That can't be right. I thought it was 3.5. If I'm cutting the actual cutting edge, yeah, it's almost 4 inches. Wow. So you're getting a ton of blade for your money. It's a good looking blade. It's got this nice swedge up here, and it's very sharp. Came from the factory, very sharp. There's your 8CR13 MOV stamp there. G10 scales, which is something you don't usually find in this price point. Skeletonized liners. Can you see those? Maybe. Yes, you can. Skeletonized liners. It's a stainless steel liner lock. It's got nice standoffs, very Hinderer-esque. Reminds you a lot of a ZT knife, but it's its own design. They have great ergonomics. I mean, it's a very comfortable knife to hold. It's got great ergos. I mean, I really like the way it feels in my hand. You got some functional. The jimping on here is there, and it's somewhat functional. It's not very aggressive, but it's not, you know, but it's got nice ergonomics. It's got a lot of design elements you find in a lot more expensive knives. You got the tip up carrying clip on the right hand side only, and that's one thing about this, is that it does have a lot of elements and design that you're going to find on a lot more expensive knives. And if you're looking for a good beater knife, this is a great option. If you're on a really tight budget and want a good EDC folder with a lot of blade, good budget knife. My only one complaint is the lock bar. The lock bar, because it's not frame lock. The liner lock is a little uncomfortable to disengage. It's kind of rough with that jimping there. Kind of bugs your finger a little bit. Not a big deal though. Not a deal breaker, especially for the price. These also come in a tan G10 and an OD green. I could only find the black on Amazon. I know you can get the other ones online. There's also a seller called, now I'm going to forget the name, Lazy Lizard, I believe, on eBay, that is actually a US seller, and he actually modifies these. He sells modified knives. So definitely a cool knife. For 16 bucks, you should just check one out. If anything, give it away to a friend if you don't like it. I actually been enjoying carrying it. It's got a big beefy blade, and it's been holding up real nicely. No blade play. It's very solid, flips nice. My one complaint, like I said, was the liner lock being a little hard to disengage, and this proprietary pivot, which is kind of like your Microtech style pivot. So not a big fan of that, but awesome knife for under 16 bucks. 17, $16, $17, and even cheaper if you want to wait for it to ship from you. And that's one thing you'll notice in this this video is that a lot of these knives are going to be foreign made because it's just almost impossible to make a good knife in the U.S. without having it cost more. It's just labor costs, you know. So if you're 100% buy knives in the USA, then this video is really not for you probably. The next one is, and these next two are very similar in price, the SE Zancudo. And I did a whole review on this knife, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time. But I've really been liking this one. I've been carrying it quite a bit. It's a good smaller knife. When you're looking for a smaller knife, it's still smooth, still deploys nicely. It's holding its edge just fine for typical EDC tasks. You know, I haven't been really abusing it or anything, but it's been doing just fine. It's a good little knife. You can have them around 25 bucks. They come in a bunch of colors. You got the nylon or FRN type handles on these, so it's a little different. Not going to get G10 at this price point normally, so that's a good one. Not going to spend a ton of time on that one just because I've already reviewed it. The next one, though, I am going to spend some time on because I love it. This is the Ontario Utilitac 2. Now, if you follow the Apostle P channel, which I'm sure a lot of you do, he did a review on this knife just recently, and that's actually why I picked it up, because he was ranting and raving about it, and we tend to share similar opinions on knives, so I had to check it out. I'm really glad I did. This is got to be one of the smoothest knives for 25 bucks that you could possibly buy. I don't know what Ontario's doing, but that is the smoothest action. I mean, if they made this in a flipper, I'd be in heaven. So smooth. I mean, buttery smooth. It's kind of crazy. It's like custom smooth. You know, I've had a few custom knives in my collection, a lot of high-end productions, and it's just as smooth as any of those knives have been. This is the Tanto version, as you can see. It's got a nice big wide blade, kind of like ZT 350-esque, but in a Tanto, which is pretty cool. This one actually says collector's first production run on it. It's got that satin finish, so it's really reflecting. AUS 8A steel, which is a titch better than AUS 8. It's kind of what cold steel uses. A little bit better heat treat on that steel, I think. This does have the nylon, you know, type handles like the Rat or the like the Rat 1 and the Zancudo. So you don't get G10 on this, but I like the way it feels. This handle is pretty ergonomic. They do make another one. They make this in a few different options. You got a drop point blade and the Tanto, but you have different handle options. They're all black, but they're just a little bit different design. And I think I might pick one up in the drop point with the other handle, see if I like it better. I do like this handle. This knife's actually a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. It is a titch smaller than the Rat 1, which is also a great budget folder, but it's not in this video just because I don't own one at the current time. But I've owned a few of those. But this one is, I think, a step up from the Rat 1 in my opinion. It's just so crazy smooth. It's price-wise right there. It might even be less expensive. I mean, I picked it up on Amazon for $24.95. So definitely been liking the Utilitac. Great option in the budget market. And it's made in Taiwan, so a little step up from China in a lot of ways. Most Taiwanese knives are a little bit nicer. It's where Spyderco has a lot of their high-end knives, like the Southern and the Domino, are made in Taiwan. So Utilitac 2, great knife. Definitely highly recommend it. Check it out. Next one on the list is the Spyderco Tenacious. Now this is not a surprise because this is pretty much one of everyone's favorite budget knives. When Spyderco came out with their budget series, Chinese-made knives, they were huge, and they still are, and for good reason, because they're great knives for the money. I really like the Tenacious. I've owned 4 or 5 of them at least, and I just keep coming back, and I always end up buying one. So this one's going to stay with me for a while because I like the blackout version. See, with this, you get a little step up with materials as far as the scales are concerned. You do get G10. You do have 4 bronze washers on this, so it's very smooth. But for some reason, that Utilitac is smoother, and I can't figure out why. I haven't taken it apart to see what they do. But this is plenty smooth. You do have the 8CR13 MOV steel, so you do downgrade a titch in steel, not much. There's really not a whole lot of difference between the two. But you know, not a lot needs to be said about the Tenacious. It's definitely a knife you should have in your collection. It's a great EDC knife. If if you're on a budget, or I mean, it's just overall great EDC knife. Period. I know people that have high-end customs that own Tenaciouses, so definitely a great knife. Next one I'm not going to spend a ton of time on either because I just did a review, but this is the CRKT Icoma Carajas, I believe is how you say it. Really dig this one. It's really lightweight, it weighs about 3.1 ounces, and it's got IKBS bearings, very smooth, good gentleman's folder / EDC knife. I've been carrying it for both. Really digging it. Not going to spend a lot of time. If you want to watch more detail, check out my video. But it's going to be had under 50 bucks. That's I think what I paid at Blade HQ. And it's definitely, it's a step up. You do have the G10 scales, IKBS bearings, and you do have the Sandvik steel on it. It's a little bit nicer than the Chinese steels. So definitely one still under 50 bucks. The last one, which is the most expensive of the bunch, but maybe the absolute best value, is the Buck Vantage Pro. Now this is the Buck Vantage series, has a lot of different options. You have like a lower end one that has 420 HC steel. You have a mid-range, the Buck Vantage Avid that has like a diamond wood handle and the Sandvik steel like the CRKT has. Or you get the Pro, which is G10 scales, S30V steel with the Paul Boss heat treat on it, which is an awesome heat treat. I've had this steel before on the Buck Mayo collaboration, and it's great steel. The crazy thing about this knife is you get G10, you get the S30V steel with the Boss heat treat, deep carry clip, flipper, made here in the USA with a lifetime warranty for under $60. I really don't know that there's a better deal in the knife world than the Buck Vantage Pro. I really don't. Never owned one before. Just recently picked this up from Blade HQ, and I can't believe it because I really like it. It's almost a perfect size for EDC. It's a good flipper. It's on washers. I wish it was on bearings, but you know, sometimes washers are just as good. They flip nicely. It's got a nice blade profile. Great steel. It's going to hold its edge a while, even better with that heat treatment on there. It's got an open pillar construction. Tip up, excuse me, deep carry clip, which I do believe you can reverse to the left side as well for under 60 bucks. I don't know that it can be beat. It's like I've been thinking about knives that have that kind of steel that are around that price range, and there you go, bumping the tripod. And I think the closest thing I can even think of is the Paramilitary 2, which is around 100 bones. Actually, they're about 115, 120 nowadays. Maybe the Manix 2s, but that doesn't use S30V. Actually, there is an S30V version, so probably the closest thing, and you're spending another 40 bucks. I mean, I can't think of one, really, unless it was like a discontinued model like the ZTO 700, which was a good purchase in that price range too, and it had higher end steel. I think it had S30V steel also. And you could have those for around 75 bucks, but still $60. I mean, I don't know how you beat it. I have heard some issues. I've got a new one. This is a brand new one. The centering's perfect. There's no play. It flips nicely. I mean, I haven't disassembled it or anything. It's pretty smooth. The flipper could be a little larger. It's got a pretty small flipper, but if you flip knives a lot, I don't mean flip as in like butterfly knives, but if you have a lot of flippers, you'll have no issues. It's people that don't use flippers that tend to have issues opening these knives. So, but I can't think of a better value folder than the Buck Vantage Pro for 60 bucks. So the whole idea of this video was there's so many good knives, and this doesn't even scratch the surface. There's the, like I suggested, the Ontario Rat 1, there's the Rat 2, there is the, let's get them all in frame if we can, Kershaw, bunch of Kershaws in that range, bunch of great Kershaws. Kershaw Injection 3.5 comes to mind. The Scrambler is good. I definitely want to pick up another Injection. I sold the one I had, and I wish I wouldn't have because I love that knife. So I would definitely add that to the list. There's a lot of good options in this price range. These are just a few, but that's 6 different knives under $60 that are really good knives that have good value, you know, and they're not expensive. And they're definitely great EDC knives. Some are a little larger than others, but there's, you know, a good wide variety there. So you don't need to spend $200, $300, $400 on a knife to get a good knife. I mean, I know some knives that cost 300 bucks that aren't made with any better materials than this one. So don't know if you're buying a name or what you're buying, but you know, I'm really impressed with the Buck. I'm impressed with all these knives. I've been enjoying carrying them, using to sharpen one of them, which says a lot because some of them are cheap still. I mean, 8CR13 and an AUS 8. I actually happen to like those stills. They take a nice edge really easily, and they hold it for a decent amount of time. I mean, they're not going to be a super still, but how many people actually really need that? I don't know. I think S30s, you know, some people even say, oh, S30's not even a super still anymore, you know, and it's probably not compared to some of the stills that are out there, but it's going to hold its edge a long time. It's going to be a little more difficult to sharpen, too, so you do have your trade-offs there, but just want to do a quick video today. I mean, actually, this is going on for a little while now. I'm not sure exactly what happened. My camera stopped recording. Alright guys, sorry, there was a little hiccup there with the camera. Like the 15-minute mark, it just kind of stopped recording and then started again, so it cut off a little bit of the video. And I got confused when I looked at the time. So, just to wrap it up, 6 great knives under $60. This actually brings up a good point, though. I actually do have a new camera on the way. I'm going to step it up to 1080p HD recording. And hopefully, because I've been having a few issues with this camera, it's a few years old, doesn't surprise me. I've definitely got some good use out of it. So just look forward to that. We should be doing some higher quality videos here in the future. And yeah, I think that's it. So any questions or comments, leave them down below. I do like to hear your guys' feedback. If you have some other knives that you want me to review, you know, if they're less expensive, I'd be glad to pick them up and, you know, do a review on them. So let me know. Alright guys, thanks for watching and take care. I'll see you next time.